Welcome to this explainer. Today we're diving right into exactly how Dano Finance is completely rewiring the Cardano ecosystem. We're going to look at everything from, honestly, some unbelievable reported yields, all the way down to how they're manipulating the fundamental architecture of the blockchain itself. If you're operating in Cardano DeFi right now, you absolutely need to understand this platform.
Right off the bat, Dano Finance is making some massive waves across the DeFi landscape today. With the launch of their V2 beta, they've introduced these really aggressive new mechanisms to optimize network liquidity. They aren't just positioning themselves as another decentralized exchange anymore, they're aiming to be the core infrastructure of the entire network.
And the first thing that really jumps out in their recent data is just the sheer scale of the yields. Look at this. A massive 35% APY is currently being reported just for supplying ADA in Cardano's ADA Boost pool. In the current DeFi landscape, finding a yield of that magnitude simply for supplying a major Layer 1 asset like ADA, that is incredibly rare.
So you might be asking yourself, how is an opportunity this rare even possible on Cardano right now? When we see numbers like 35%, our natural inclination is to wonder, what's going on under the hood? Where is that yield actually coming from? Is it sustainable? Or is it just some temporary marketing push? Well, to answer that, we really have to look closely at their architecture.
The secret sauce really lies in some brilliant structural changes to their liquidity pools. It works in 3 simple steps. First up, Davanos Boost pools accept a significantly wider range of collateral assets than your standard pools. Second, because of that broader acceptance, it unlocks a massive flood of borrowing demand from users who want leverage. And third, that huge spike in borrowing demand directly funds those higher supply yields. It's essentially a classic supply and demand equation, just highly optimized.
Moving on to Section 1, Execution in Red Markets. Now, high yield is fantastic when times are good, but what happens when the market takes a sudden downturn? This is a really powerful idea from Dano Finance, and it reminds us of a harsh reality. A red market doesn't just test your diamond hands, it rigorously tests your platform's execution capability. I mean, we've all been there, right? You're trying to exit a volatile position only to be hit with endless transaction errors. Your desire to sell means absolutely nothing if your exchange chokes under network congestion.
During those high-pressure, incredibly volatile moments, say you're trying to swap a stablecoin like USDC Index back into ADA to protect your portfolio, getting the absolute best optimal route is completely critical. This is where Dano Finance steps in, because it's engineered specifically for deep liquidity and low-slippage routing. This helps ensure that even when the market is crashing, traders aren't losing massive chunks of value just to poor execution.
Next up, Section 2, Achieving True Composability. To really understand how they guarantee this kind of flawless, low-slippage routing, we've got to look under the hood at that newly launched V2 beta. Let me tell you, this isn't just a fresh coat of paint, it is a profound structural upgrade. Dano's actively wiring together all the decentralized exchanges, lending protocols, the rusty DeFi kernel, and essentially every single decentralized application on the network into one central hub.
And that brings us to the concept of true composability. In Dano's ecosystem, this means executing any combination of complex, multi-step financial actions perfectly within a single atomic transaction. If you've spent any time around Cardano, you already know the eUTxO model has historically created some pretty tough user experience friction for complex trades. But Dano is effectively paving right over those historical speed bumps, using the architecture exactly as it was meant to be used.
So how exactly are they pulling this off? It's through their transaction building service and SDK. Usually, developers have to constantly wrestle with the eUTxO layer to create a smooth user experience. But this SDK acts almost like a universal translator. Developers simply publish their datum structures, and Dano seamlessly integrates them, handling all the heavy lifting and complex routing entirely in the background. And that brings us to Section 3, Architecting the Global Order Book.
Let's zoom out for a second and look at the macro impact all this developer ease and deep liquidity actually has on the entire Cardano network. It creates this incredible domino effect. Step 1, seamless dApp connectivity aggregates the total value locked. Step 2, this frictionless environment drives up massive on-chain volume. Step 3, all that interconnected volume flows straight down to the blockchain's core settlement layer. And finally, executing all that volume inevitably drives a huge fundamental increase in the demand for the ADA token itself.
We are literally watching the definitive DeFi kernel rise right before our eyes. By solving composability and unifying the ecosystem, Dano Finance isn't just another decentralized app, it is foundational infrastructure. The global order book really is taking shape on Cardano.
So here's the real question for you. Now that the friction is gone and the liquidity is finally unified, is your current trading strategy optimized enough to survive on the new global order book?